The campaign to defend the country's richest farmland against mining is one of the hottest debates in Australian agri-politics. And it's already claiming some high-profile scalps. Incumbent New South Wales Farmers Association President Charles Armstrong was toppled recently by Fiona Simson, who's been instrumental in giving the battle for the Liverpool Plains a national profile. Well, she joins me from the ABC studios in Sydney. Fiona Simson, congratulations and welcome to Landline.
Thank you very much.
Well, as we just saw in our report, the Senate inquiry heard the case for science needing to catch up with CSG, plus criticism of a conflict of interest for the Queensland government, which both regulates and promotes it. So are there some lessons here for you in New South Wales?
In New South Wales, we are behind Queensland, and we are very keen not to be like Queensland in terms of the situation that they find themselves in now, where the industry has progressed far more quickly than the science or the legislation. So where we are at the moment is that in what the government is calling their transitional phase, and it's the phase between the old policy, which they have acknowledged is poor, and the new policy, which is much more transparent and much better equipped to actually, we hope, assess agricultural land and agricultural industry and put in place some protections for that agricultural land and industry prior to there being much coal seam gas development in this state.
Well, since 2009, you've held key leadership positions on the mining task force for the New South Wales Farmers Association. What are the key priorities that you've learnt as you've travelled about?
Well, look, a lot of problems, I think, in terms of right from the very beginning, when exploration licences or petroleum exploration licences, as they're actually called, are awarded, and landholders aren't even informed that these exploration licences are put over their properties. So I think, first of all, nobody even knows about it until generally a mining company or an exploration company, a coal seam gas exploration company or their contractors comes and knocks at their door or grabs them on the way to the school bus or something like that. So we have the whole fact that landholders aren't told, aren't informed and have no right of appeal. The next thing is the whole access agreement phase, and we have had a huge problem with that in this state. And in fact, a lot of the travelling that I did with the mining task force was to talk to communities, talk to landholders and talk to our members about what rights they actually do have in this process, because a lot of our members were very confused. They were confused as to whether they actually had the right to not sign an access agreement, whether they in fact had to sign the access agreements. And we've been actively out there telling them, no, don't sign the first access agreement you're given. Make sure that you have a good look at it. Make sure that you ask for some legal advice and seek some clarification as to exactly what the mining company wants to do on your land. And then thirdly, of course, we have all the impacts which the communities are very, very concerned about the whole production phase and the water that's extracted and what to do with that water, what to do with the heavy metals and salts, and what effect that could have on the pressures under the ground and of course their precious aquifers and water systems that they rely on.
But some say with mining already so ingrained that both sides are just going to have to learn to live together and compromise.
Well, look, I'm hoping that it's not going to involve compromise. What I think we want is the absolute best outcome for every industry in New South Wales. And we want the best outcome for agriculture, most certainly, agricultural lands and the very valuable natural resources that it depends on. But we also believe that we can plan for developments such as coal seam gas, perhaps. We can plan for mining activity. We can plan for urban development. We can plan for infrastructure development. But this upfront planning is absolutely essential, and that we stop development being proponent-driven as it currently is in this state.
Well, your new job is about much more than mining, so to some other topics. And what do your members want out of the Murray Basin water reforms?
It's a very hot topic still, and we're all waiting at the moment for Craig Knowles's latest report. Now, we were very interested to see the information that came out in the last couple of weeks that actually validated the very preliminary survey that we did prior to the guide being released back late last year, that showed exactly how much impact this plan could have on some of our regional and rural communities. So we want to ensure that any information that comes out, that any plan that comes out absolutely assesses these triple bottom line characteristics and addresses the social aspects as well as the economic and environmental aspects.
And another big ticket item, of course, is the carbon tax. Is the New South Wales Farmers Association supportive of it as it stands?
The carbon tax, of course, is another hot issue, and somebody asked me the other day about the hot issues that were facing us, and there are so many at the moment, with the carbon tax just being one of them. And there is no doubt that under any proposed carbon tax, farmers are going to be facing really increased costs. And I think the figures show that on average, I think we're looking at around about the $1,500 to $2,000 a year worse off because of the much higher input costs, fertiliser, electricity, etc., which we just won't be able to get back from our consumers. So, farmers, as we know, are price takers, not price makers. I think it seems inevitable that the price of some of these goods will rise, but that money won't be going back into the farmer's pocket. So we'll be wanting to make sure that we get the modelling done, that we get the data, that we have input into the process to make sure that farmers at the end of the day can be in the best possible position that they can be under any such tax.
What about the future directions for farmers to get the most out of carbon sequestration?
Well, we made quite a detailed submission into the Carbon Farming Initiative, and look, we were successful in getting some of our concerns addressed in the new draft. Some of the concerns we have surround particularly the additionality and permanence clause, because we actually think that farmers are in fact quite good already at storing carbon, and we need to have a lot more work done on in fact both sides of the carbon accounting cycle. So there could be that it's early days yet in all of this, and there could be some opportunities there, but we just need to make sure that we are there and that the modelling is done, that we have the data, and we have a good understanding of what's actually going to happen and have as much input into that process as we possibly can.
Well, it's certainly a wide-reaching job in very interesting times, so we wish you the best. Fiona Simson, thanks for joining us on Landline.
Thank you very much, Anne.